Today we're taking a look at the Crank Telescopic Camera Bazooka, brought to you by Proaim. This thing is a beast at 16 inches to 24 inches in extension of length. It is absolutely a must when you're out there in the field. Now, what makes this different from the other bazookas that Proaim offers? Well, I'll tell you what, a crank for starters is pretty nice. Most of bazookas that you get are manual, and they've been like that for years. But the beauty of this is that when you have a heavy payload, like let's say you got a 60-pound worth of camera gear on top of this, not to mention the mounts and whatnot, you're gonna need a little strength. And having to hold this up manually on other bazookas can be sort of cumbersome. I mean, honestly, you're trying to lift this and you're trying to lock it in place. With this, you actually get a crank that will actually lift it for you, especially if you're working by yourself. It's a very difficult thing to do when you're working by yourself, but this will definitely take a little bit of that load out of your back. So let's take a quick look. You can see this, the crank right here. Now, a lot of people will be like, oh my God, that's loud. What is going on? Well, that's fine. I actually like the sound of a crank. It's very therapeutic to my ears. Okay, so if you don't like it, and let's say you're trying to pull it quiet on set, well, guess what? You can just push this little lever down and you can manually do it up and down. No crank sound at all. But honestly, you could use this while you're filming. It's almost like, you know, the old days of filming where you got those little risers and whatnot. But like I said, kind of reminds me of the old days where you'd put a card in your spokes and it sounded like your bike had like a motor on it. And I think that that's where that comes from. But most of the times I just kind of crank that down, this little lever right here, and then you're good to go. But this makes it safer than ever, especially if you're new to the world of bazookas. The beauty of bazookas is that they actually level your camera out. Honestly, every time I put my camera on a bazooka, the bubble on the meter on my tripod head is always even. And I love the fact that I can throw this Quad Plus doorway dolly on a track as well, on the skater tracks, and that makes it a lot more convenient. So whether you're in the market for a bazooka or you're in the market for something new, this is something that I would recommend. It is the Crank Telescopic Camera Bazooka by Proaim. They never cease to amaze me with all the technology they come out with. And like I said, your gimbal can go on top of this if you just want to roll a doorway dolly around as well. There's so many things that you can mix and match with the world of Proaim that it just continues to revolutionize the cinema industry for independent guys like myself. So I really would recommend this if you're on your own, you're out there and you're like, don't want to really lift, you know, the bazooka because it's really heavy. I mean, trying to hold it with one hand and lock it, this is probably the item for you. So check it out. It's the Crank Telescopic Camera Bazooka by Proaim.